Let's hear it for Leslie. Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Timoteo. Good morning. I'm Tim, and I serve gratefully as minister here at this church. Welcome to our friends on our virtual campus. Let's give it up for all of you at home. Hello. And welcome to everyone here on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Packed, not a seat in the house, right? Yeah. Bienvenidos a la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. We are one congregation in many places. If you are on our virtual campus, now is the perfect time to share this live stream with your Facebook and YouTube friends and followers. Don't be bashful. No one will know that you're an evangelical Unitarian Universalist. We won't tell. This morning, we acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue Church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yucats and Mono peoples. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. You are welcome with or without documentation, con papeles y sin papeles. As Unitarian Universalists, we not only open our doors to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities, we value diversity of sexuality and gender and see it as a spiritual gift. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and you wish to share a personal joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude on both the virtual and the Alluvial Ave campuses, type it now into the chat box. This is that moment to type your joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude, and we will write them down and give them to Laurie so she can include them later in the service as she will be leading us through our time of reflections. If you don't do it now in the chat box, we won't have time to include them. As some of you know, we are in the midst of our annual pledge drive. This is that heart-stopping and swoon-inducing time when the members and friends of the church let the staff know how much we will generously share in terms of financial support during the upcoming fiscal year, which runs July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2023. Your pledge allows us to build our budget based on the total amount of money we expect to be donated from you, the church members and friends. So last week, we had pledges amounting to $592,822, and we still needed to raise $20,070 to make our pledge drive goal. Now, we don't have a drum, so you're all going to have to be the drum roll this morning. I am happy to announce today's total. Here's the drum roll. The end of the drum roll, it is $612,211. That is a rather shocking 99.88% of our goal. This leaves only $681 to be pledged. I have to say that is incredible this early into the pledge drive because we're really still only 2 weeks into what we call our mop-up phase. Please return your pledge card if you are one of the few outstanding pledges still not submitted, or you can, and we don't have a pledge drive table this morning, but you can email your pledge or your question to pledge@uufresno.org. Could we all say that together? pledge@uufresno.org. Please, we need that last couple $100. And now, in the chat box, in person, or in the silence of your own hearts, let's take a moment to greet one another. I'm wondering as we begin our services today, is there anybody either in Alluvial Ave or on our virtual campus who identifies as perfect? It's good to know, with the exception of our gentleman Frank in the back, it's good to know we are in the right place today for our service, perfectly imperfect, flawlessly flawed.
Sad eyes, don't be discouraged, though I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me your smile, babe, and don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me out because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow.
Good morning, buenos días. Me llamo Lori y yo soy un miembro de equipo de artes de adoración. My name is Lori and I'm a member of the worship arts team. If you have a candle or chalice, bring it close as we'll be lighting it soon. Anyone who knows me well knows about a group of friends that I have remained very, very close to for 44 years, probably a little more than that. I once thought about why that particular bond is so strong, that even though we don't live near each other, we didn't go to college, maybe a couple of us were in college together, but we didn't go to college together. But we continue to Zoom once a month and get together regularly. Why do I still consider them my closest friends and confidants? Here's why. I was raised by a rather British-like family. I always tell my friends, if you want to know my culture, just watch The Queen. The message was, stiff upper lip, don't demonstrate your feelings, put up a good front, don't share personal information. No matter what you do, it's rarely enough. Be polite and respectful, but never vulnerable, and perfection is the goal. I'm hearing amens. Even though it ran contrary to my personality, I really tried to follow that path. I loved people. I love people. I listen to others. I have lots of friends. I'd be present for others who struggle, but not share myself, as there might be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. I'm not perfect. People will find out, and I won't be loved. At 21 years of age, I agreed, regretfully at the time, to work for an organization that is very similar to Outward Bound. It's called Stress Education Wilderness Program, with emphasis on stress. I had to learn to climb rocks and backpack and take troubled youth for a 3-week period, beginning with in-camp training, backpack to a mountain, climb the mountain, have a solo experience, and get them back alive. I was terrified, completely out of my element, and yet I committed to do this. There was no hiding who I was, because it was stressful. It was really stressful. There were tears and sweat and victories and laughter and failures. A group of us women who started out as counselors continued together for 3 years. And what I experienced was that they all saw me at my very best. And they also saw me at my very, very worst, and still loved me. And that experience changed my life forever. In that spirit, and in the spirit of this morning's theme, Perfectly Imperfect, Flawlessly Flawed, I invite you to light your chalice or candle at home. And then, Tim, are you ready to light the chalice here in the Alluvial Sanctuary?
You know, Lori, I may do it imperfectly, but I'm going to try.
That's all we can expect. Thank you. Oh, give him a hand. Well done. Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in singing, "You Are All Welcome Here."
If you are searching, come on in. We're all in this journey that starts within. If you've got a burden, come lay it down. Raise up your voices as we gather around. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are joyful or you're concerned, come share your story. The chalice flame burns. If your heart is broken, if you've been disowned, come join a circle. You are not alone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are listening, you've got the right to seek sanctuary, guided by the light. If you hear that calling, come join the fight. Marching for justice, candles lit in the night. Whoever you are, whoever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. I'm quite excited because today is New Member Sunday. We'll have 6 new members joining today. And to kind of inspire us, those of us who've been here for a while, and also those who are on the journey towards membership, Laurie, I believe you have a reading on why someone might want to join a Unitarian Universalist church.
Or adapted from the words of Reverend Roy Phillips. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church to support it. You want to join it because it stands against superstition and fear, because it points to what is noblest and best in human life, because it is open to people of whatever race, creed, color, sexual orientation, gender, identity, or national origin. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it has a free pulpit, because you can hear ideas expressed here which would cost any other minister their job. You want to support it because it is a place where children can come without being saddled with guilt or terrified of eternal damnation, where they can learn that religion is for joy, for comfort, for gratitude, and for love. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it is a place where walls between people are torn down rather than built up. Because it is a place for free thinkers and those who insist that we must work out our own beliefs. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it is more concerned with human beings than with dogma, because it is searching for the holy rather than dwelling on the depraved, because it calls no one a sinner, yet knows how deep is the struggle and how great is the hunger for what is good. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because you realize there is something greater than your own individual wants and needs, and you want to be of service to it. Because you yearn to join with others to work for justice, because you wish to experience community and connection. You want to join a Unitarian Universalist church because it can laugh. You want to support it because it insults neither your intelligence nor your conscience, and because it calls us to lift up what is truly worthy of love.
Thank you, Laurie. I invite Patty and Bill to come forward for our ceremony.
Buenos dias and good morning on this New Member Sunday. I'm Patty Bennett, and as this congregation's coordinator of community life, it is my great privilege to introduce to you some wonderful people who are choosing today to become members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. If you are present on our Alluvial Avenue campus, we hope you will stand. If you are part of our virtual campus, we welcome you to stand in spirit or in body. And I would like to introduce these people now. Betty Francis. Oh. David Gleim. Deborah Jean Newman. And Kim Fox is our flower runner this morning. Thank you, Kim. Renee Poddick and Kay Taus, and Eleanor Richards.
And Eleanor,
Eleanor,
do
stand.
you want to stand, Eleanor? That would be great.
There she is.
As the one who serves gratefully as minister of this congregation, it is a joy to welcome each of you into our community of memory and hope. To each new member, I ask, will you walk together with us, sharing the joys and the responsibilities of membership? Will you bring your hopes and enthusiasms, your questions and your fears? In community with us, will you help us fulfill our mission to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice? If so, please say with me, we will. We will. Members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, will you welcome these dear ones into our congregation? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives and the change they will bring? If so, please speak these words of welcome with me. Welcome into this community of spirit, love, and justice. We join our strengths, talents, and commitment with yours. You are part of us, and we are part of you.
Good morning. I'm Bill Reganini, and I serve gratefully as the president of your board of trustees. Becoming a member of this church is an important step, but it's only a first step. So on behalf of the congregation, I charge you new members, as well as our longer-term members, to grow in your Unitarian Universalist faith. I also charge you, as well as our longer-term members, to find and share your special gifts with us, because ours is a shared ministry. Each of us has a crucial role to play, and we need you. We need your energy, we need your ideas, we need the gifts of your time, and we need your financial support. So give generously of yourselves, and your rewards will be great.
Each of you brings light, vitality, and renewal. Each of your lights has a common source. Together, we form a beacon of hope to each other and our wounded and beautiful world. May your light shine brightly among us for many years to come. In that spirit, from both on our Alluvial Avenue campus and our virtual campus, let us offer our warm applause to the newest members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno.
A reminder that you don't need to wait until a new member Sunday. Our next new member Sunday will be on June 12th, and you can always join anytime privately. So come join us on this shared spiritual adventure. Let's stand with our newest members and reprise a verse and chorus of our opening song of praise. You are welcome here.
If you are searching, come on in. We're all on this journey that starts within. If you've got a burden, come lay it down. Raise up your voices as we gather around. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Please be seated.
It's refreshing. Whether here at our Alluvial campus or attending virtually, I invite you to connect to the power of our breath as together we breathe in and we breathe out love. We breathe in peace and we breathe out love. And one more time, we breathe in peace, and we breathe out love. As we continue to breathe together, each at our own pace and each at our own depth, we let our breath carry us back to the last 7 days. And as we breathe, take a moment to reflect. How or where in the last week were you unskillful in word or action, or lack of word or action? And then what will you be more mindful of next week? Some of us entered the Alluvial Sanctuary this morning and chose to write a personal joy, concern, sorrow, or gratitude on the cards on the entranceway table. And those on our virtual campus were invited to share theirs in the chat box. And here are some of those sharings from the heart. I'll begin with the collective joy and celebration that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed to the Supreme Court. Sydney Story gave us great reason to celebrate. Yesterday was her 86th birthday, and she celebrated it with her closest friends who have the same birthday. They've celebrated together for 72 years. Wow. I think 86 deserves a little interlude of happy birthday, and I like it kind of fast, okay? So, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Daisy, happy birthday to you. We should all be so vibrant and full of life. For George B., I am thankful that Pat's sister Jane is home from the hospital and doing well. I'm also thankful that Pat is home with me as well. Connie H., I'm grateful for my trip to San Diego to visit my son and his family and meet my newborn great-grandson. Oh, I'll never be there. Jason Freeman. Did I get that right? The trip was a gift from my son. From Nancy R., heartfelt thanks to the many people who offered condolences after my husband's death. I have felt surrounded by love, and I am grateful. From Betty P., I'm so glad I found this congregation. It feels like I have come home. Yay. From Angelique, my heart aches for the children of the world. Children losing everything in Ukraine, education and homes in Afghanistan being possibly outed by teachers in Alabama, and having to face gun violence on all too regular of a basis. Adults need to keep fighting. And lastly, anonymously, so grieving about our broken world. We remember, too, our beloved members and friends who are living with health challenges, compromised mobility, or other impacts to their well-being. We lift up Edith H., William H., Laura G., Molly K., Glenda R., Pat M., Al G., and Brandon E. Beyond our congregation, we decry Putin's war crimes and atrocities against the citizens of Ukraine and fear what is yet to come. We express outrage that the Minneapolis police officer who fatally shot Amir Locke, a black man, during an early morning no-knock raid will not face criminal charges. Mr. Locke's family will now file charges against the city and demand changes in police practices from the same police department that murdered George Floyd in 2020. If those on our virtual campus want to affirm that this 20-year-old promising hip-hop artist, that his life matters, type BLM in the chat box. Lastly, we grieve that and protest that yet another state legislature has passed a draconian attack on safe and easy access to abortion, one that will make a felony to perform one in Oklahoma, except in the case of medical emergency. This impacts women, trans, and non-binary individuals and will disproportionately affect BIPOC and economically vulnerable communities the most. Let us hold a moment of silence as we mark this moment of yet another chipping away of bodily autonomy. As we think of all that has been shared here this morning, the joys and the sorrows, and all that still lives in our hearts, we light our candle of community. We also light this second candle to honor the 6.16 million people worldwide who have died in the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes 981,000 Americans. As is our custom on the first anniversary of a church member's death, we light a candle of remembrance. Tim, would you do that honor today?
Tomorrow will mark the first anniversary of the passing into the mysteries of death of our beloved Linda Santigian, member of this church, someone who would proudly profess that this church changed her life and her family's life. Linda was a remarkable woman who came from a background that confined her, and as she grew, she found her voice, she found her wings, she found her love and her pride. She was a devoted mom, a devoted spouse to Ron. She loved children. She was an environmental activist. Don't damn Dinky Creek, she said. She truly touched the lives of so many and has left a great empty space in the lives of so many. To light a candle to celebrate the resilient, the strong, the ever-fighting for life until the last moment for Linda Santigian. I invite Ron to come forward.
As these three candles burn, please join together in the meditation song, Spirit of Life, Fuente de Amor.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing Come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Will you join with me in the spirit of mindfulness, reflection, or prayer? These words come from the beautiful heart of Reverend Leslie Takahashi, who serves as the lead minister at Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church in Walnut Creek, California. Let us pray. Spirit of life, fuente de amor, God of our own understanding, source of all that is. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. It's been a while since we've sung together, "There's a River Flowing in My Soul." And some of us, pre-pandemic, will remember that when we sing this song that's based and comes from the African American church tradition, we engage our bodies and we move and we worship not just with voices, but with all of who we are. So, some of us, this makes us very uncomfortable, but don't worry, it's not about perfection, it's just about moving a little bit. So, the words you can see up there on the screen and the motions, and I think this is a time for all of us to rise. It's, and again, it's not perfection, it's just motion. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me, like that's a mouth, and it's telling me, and then for I am somebody, it's I am somebody. It's like, yay! There's a river flowing in my soul. Now, the next time we do it, it's part of it's the same. There's a river flowing in my soul, there's a river flowing in my soul, there's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me, you are somebody. So you can kind of just point to some folks, don't poke anybody in the eye. There's a river flowing in my soul. The third time, it's they are somebody, because it's not just about us in this sanctuary, it's about those who are out beyond us. So it's, there's a river flowing in my soul, there's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me they are somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. The last time, there's a river flowing in my soul, there's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me, now, we should not have us and them. There should not be a they, there should only be a we. So let's include everyone. We are somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. And if you feel like moving beyond that, go right ahead. Fasten your seatbelts. We're going to have some fun. There's a river flowing in my soul.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me I am somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me you are somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul.
It's they are somebody.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me they are somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Now it's we are somebody.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me we are somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Please be seated. See, the real reason is now nobody will fall asleep during the sermon, because I got that blood flowing. No water. Excuse me while I get my beverage. It's water, I promise. The words of Reverend Leslie Takahashi. all that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create: a deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. It had been a long, long time since it happened, since someone asked me that question so popular here in Fresno. It had been such a long time since someone asked me those three little words. Yesterday, I was at Lowe's waiting in the backed-up self-service checkout line. To pass the time, I smiled at and then started talking to an earnest-looking young couple ahead of me in line, talking about the weather, the early summer, and their favorite Fresno roadside vegetable stand. That's when the three-word question, that dreaded three-word question, came, first preceded by this familiar preamble. Do you attend church? Oh no, here it comes, I thought. And then they asked, are you saved? Anybody get that question? Yeah? Now, truth be told, usually I dodge that question. I've learned living in Fresno that trying to have a conversation with someone who is intent on converting me rather than intent on listening and having a conversation turns into a dead-end waste of time. But yesterday was different. I'm not sure why. Maybe I was feeling a bit feisty because I was excited that today we'd be welcoming new church members and I'd be preaching about the loving embrace of Unitarian Universalism. So rather than playing it safe and tap dancing around that three-word question, I smiled at that earnest young couple and replied, I am saved. I am saved from needing to believe that there's only one way to be spiritual and religious. Oh, that poor couple. They suddenly look like they wish they could disappear. Or even better yet, they look like they wish I would disappear. I continued, I am saved. I am saved from needing to believe that Jesus is the only way, truth, and light. I'm glad he is for you, truly, but I'm saved from needing to believe that that's true for me. I'm saved from needing to believe that the only doorway to infinite love is through a conservative and a limiting interpretation of what is a beautiful religion called Christianity. I am saved. I am saved from believing in original sin, saved from the belief that we are shameful sinners destined to burn in the fires of hell. I'm saved from believing that in order for the universe to love me, I need to accept my innate depravity. Dear ones, we are saved. Could you just say that with me? We are saved. As Unitarian Universalists, we are saved from an ideology of division and diminishment. Saved from an ideology that, as Laurie said earlier in the service, builds walls between people in order to separate and conquer. Saved from an ideology that lifts some people up in order to push other people down. Saved from a white political Christian nationalism that takes, distorts, and perverts Jesus' initial message of an equitable love and respect for all. As Unitarian Universalists, we're saved from believing that there is a limited amount of worth and dignity in the universe, and it's available only to a certain type of person who thinks or acts a certain way, who accepts someone else's definition of goodness and love. Now, I know the word saved makes some of us uncomfortable, so let's just acknowledge that. But I truly believe that Unitarian Universalism is a saving faith because, and I quote Reverend Roy Phillips, Unitarian Universalism calls no one a sinner, yet knows how deep is the struggle and how great is the hunger for what is good. And I would argue that is what was also at the heart of Jesus' message. That is what is at the heart of Jesus' teachings. I believe Unitarian Universalism is a saving faith because, as my late father-in-law, the Reverend Herbert Vedder, proclaimed, Unitarian Universalists believe in the wholeness of life made known as awakening love within the human heart. And I just want to stop there for a second because I love this, that our wholeness and the wholeness of life comes from something that awakens in our human heart. It doesn't come from somewhere else, and it's bestowed upon us. It is our opening of the heart to love. Reverend Herbert Vedder continued, we believe in the goodness of life, of new life struggling to be born, of all life yearning for fulfillment. All life yearning for fulfillment, not just a set-apart few. We believe that beneath brokenness lies seeds of new creation. We believe that beneath brokenness lies seeds of new creation. Rather than erasing our brokenness through divine salvation, rather than being perfected by some transcendent power for life after death, we believe we save ourselves through embracing, understanding, and celebrating our humanness, which includes our imperfections and flaws. And since I already took the poll and asked if anybody here was perfect, we know we all have imperfections. We all have flaws. Anybody willing to own that with me? Okay. You may have heard of the Japanese art form known as Kintsuji. Tiffany Ayuda, a freelance journalist, writes, Kintsuji is the Japanese art of putting broken pottery pieces back together with gold, built on the idea that embracing flaws and imperfections, you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. Every break is unique, and instead of repairing an item like new, the 400-year-old technique actually highlights the scars as part of the design. And just look at how beautiful it is. Using this as a metaphor for healing ourselves teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes in the process of repairing things that have been broken, we actually create something more unique, beautiful, and resilient. Tiffany Ayuda quotes Kintsuji artist Candice Kumai. Everyone goes through tough times, and leading a life of perfection isn't necessarily realistic. That's the understatement of the year. Kintsuji shows you that you are better with your golden cracks. And I'm sticking this quote in here, Ian. You don't have it on your script. As John Wellwood writes, open your heart to who you are right now, not who you would like to be, not the saint you are striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. All of you is holy. I'm going to share a true story. It's one that I was given permission to share. That's real important to say. And I'm going to cop that I have shared it multiple times over the last few years, but I feel it's worth hearing again and again, especially on this New Member Sunday, especially in these times when so many of us are struggling with anxiety, depression, isolation, overwhelm, exhaustion, and pandemic-induced trauma and fatigue. It was a rainy Sunday morning in early December, the day she first crossed the threshold and stepped into the church. This was years ago in another part of the country, in another congregation that I was then serving. I remember seeing Sarah enter. Her hair was damp. She looked rushed and anxious. We were well into singing our opening hymn, and under the cover of that song, she slipped into the last seat on the left side of the sanctuary. I noticed her a couple times during the service, but she did not seem engaged at all. Her eyes just stared out the window. At the end of the service, as is typical, I invited everybody to stand and join hands for the benediction. This was obviously pre-pandemic when it could join hands. And then I began my favorite words to close a service. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. The service ended. Sarah quickly slipped out the sanctuary doors, talking to no one. But she came back the following Sunday. Week after week, she came back. Her rushed and anxious energy became slower and more centered. Within a year, she had found her place because she had made a decision to get involved. She realized that getting involved was the way some folks turn a church from a place you are visiting to a congregation in which you belong. She was part of our social justice team, helping steer our marriage equality work at the State House. And she was also coordinating the volunteer ushers each week. Sarah met a wonderful woman at church. They fell in love, and they were planning their wedding. She had found her spiritual home, and Unitarian Universalism became her chosen faith. A few years later, Sarah told me something. Do you remember that first Sunday I came to church, that rainy, cold Sunday, she asked. Yes, of course I remember, I replied. She went on. What I've never told you was that the day before, on Saturday, I'd just been released from the psych ward, where I had been for 10 days after trying to kill myself. I got out on Saturday, and I didn't know what I was going to do, except that I knew I would try to take my life again in the next week. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I remember feeling like I didn't want to be alone, that I needed to be with other people. Someone had told me about this funky church on the west end of town that welcomed everybody, and I thought, I'll just go sit there so I will not feel so alone. I didn't listen to much of what happened in the service. My head was too much of a jumble. But then at the end of the service, you invited us to stand up and join hands for the closing words. This stranger reached out to me and took my hand in theirs. It had been so long since someone had held my hand. I suddenly didn't feel so completely alone. Then you spoke those benediction words I will never forget. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. That was the first time in my life anyone had ever told me I was good. This church, this Unitarian Universalist faith told me that I was good. That moment saved my life. Susan Frederick Gray and Erica A. Hewitt, both Unitarian Universalist ministers, write, "We know that hurt moves through the world, perpetrated by action, inaction, and indifference. Our Unitarian Universalist values calls us to live in the reality of the heartbreak of our world, remembering that no one is outside the circle of our love. We know that things break or break down, promises, friendships, sobriety, hope, communication. This breaking happens because our human hearts and our very institutions are frail and imperfect. We make mistakes. Life is messy. With compassion as our guide, we seek the well-being of all people. We seek to dismantle systems of oppression that undermine our collective humanity. We believe we're here to guide one another toward love because no one is outside the circle of love." Could you say that with me? No one is outside the circle of love. No matter how fractured we are or once were, we can make whole people of ourselves. We are whole at our core because of the great, unnameable, sometimes inconceivable love in which we live. Dear ones, we are saved. We are saved when we remind each other that we are good and we are loved. Could you just say that? We are good and we are loved. We are good and we are loved. Again, we are good and we are loved. One more time like we mean it. We are good and we are loved. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy into this life we share. Así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everyone is seen. At this table, everybody matters. No one falls between. At this table, you can say whatever. At this table, you can speak your mind. At this table, everything's forgiven. There's enough for everyone. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are. At this table, there will be no judgment. At this table, mercy has a seat. At this table, we're all sons and daughters. There's no place I'd rather be. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are. Come as you are. At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everybody cares. At this table, everybody matters. So come, pull up a chair.
That was beautiful. Hola de nuevo. Hello again. I'm Lori. On the second Sunday of each month, we hold a special offering for a special social justice group, organization, or individual that is in alignment with our Unitarian Universalist values. I am particularly pleased this month's recipient, Citizens Climate Lobby. Yay. In this time of climate crisis, we all know we need their essential leadership here in Fresno and the Central Valley and throughout the world. To speak about this church member and environmental justice activist and my personal hero, we have Connie Young.
Good morning. I'd like to begin with thanks. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to the social justice team for this honor and to this generous congregation. Your previous financial support enabled us to send students to Washington several years in a row. Citizens Climate Lobby, or CCL, is a nonpartisan climate advocacy organization focused on creating the political will for effective federal climate legislation The policy we favor would charge fossil fuel producers for their carbon pollution and give the collected revenue to U.S. households. Currently, we are urging President Biden to stay focused on transitioning to clean, renewable energy. Due to the pandemic, we had to learn how to conduct all our meetings online. Here's Congressman Jim Costa and his cool Zoom background at one of our chapter meetings. And here we are in a virtual lobby meeting with a staffer identified by the red arrow for House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. That's UU Devin Carroll on the bottom left. We also increased our media presence with frequent letters to the editor and several op-eds. But most significantly, we began hiring part-time interns. Jessica, a high school student from Hanford, did outreach to Spanish speakers. At a migrant education conference, she gave a presentation on the impacts of climate change on farm workers. The pandemic forced Alex to leave her job in Indonesia. She led our youth action team and collaborated with Fresno State MSW classes to put on a forum on climate justice. Mike is an online grad student in environmental policy at Johns Hopkins. As our intern for Congressional District 21, he's increasing our membership in that district and forging a relationship with Congressman Valadao. Abby is a recent poli-sci and advertising graduate from Fresno State. As our media intern, she's increasing our online followers. #ClimateAction, whatever that means. Here she is working on our current display that you can see at the Woodward Park Library. This June, CCL's National Conference will once again be held in person in Washington. We hope to send several students to this life-changing event. I'll be on the breezeway after the service, or you can contact me at the email address that should be on the screen here. If you would like to learn how you too can become a citizen climate lobbyist. Thank you.
If you'd like to support the work of Citizens Climate Lobby, a slide will appear magically with all the giving options for our virtual and Alluvial Avenue sanctuaries. But first, in the spirit of grateful generosity, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Checks can be mailed to the church office or make a credit card payment over the phone. Just say the money is for Citizens Climate Lobby. You can also drop cash or a check in baskets on the way out the Alluvial Sanctuary. Thank you for saying yes. Is this it? After such a crazy walk together through these strange and challenging times, I'm so grateful for these special moments with you this morning. My hope is that after we close the service, you talk about your experience this morning with others. Perhaps you'll take a risk and share something of yourself and allow someone else to share themselves. Finding a connection through your flawless flaws and perfect imperfections. I also hope that you have found peace, light, and insights, knowing that you are loved, that you are lovable just as you are. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoon, please join us in our Chalice Extinguishing words. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad. el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts. Tim, if you'll extinguish the chalice.
I did.
Oh, you did? I wasn't
I
watching.
was so stealth. It was a stealth.
You, Proximity, see you next time. Tim, I think you have some reminders for the closing.
I do. First, this was the first time that Laurie did the whole joys and sorrows part of the service. So a few very fast reminders. One, to exit the sanctuary, we allow the socially distanced folks to head out through these doors first, followed by everyone else. We are trying to make a real intention of having a receiving line that kind of disappeared during the pandemic. So I'm going to be out there. Laurie didn't know it, but Laurie's going to be out there. Bill didn't know, but he's going to be out there. It's a chance to say thank you to them, say hello, create real connection and community. So look for us out at the official receiving line. Next week is our third Sunday food collection here on our Alluvial Ave campus. As you head out the door, the ushers will have slips of paper with different foods that need to be brought back. Just remember, regular cans go to Wesley Methodist Food Pantry. Pool top cans go to Valley Children's Hospital. We hope you will join us for coffee hour outside, especially newer folks. Take the risk to cross in and meet some people, but that also means the longer time folks don't hang out with the people they know. You get to know some of these amazing new people who are becoming part of the community. Next week is our second Easter parking lot service. So we will be outside in the parking lot, which means folks who are in Fresno who are uncomfortable coming into the sanctuary will be able to join us outside, bring folding lawn chairs. You might want to bring an umbrella because of the sun. And for those of us on our virtual campus, we will have Ian with his iPod showing the whole service. It won't be the fancy camera work that you get here in the sanctuary, but it will be live in the parking lot. And just think, you'll be hanging in the parking lot with us. So, last but not least, we have a tradition that if this is your first, second, or third time with us in the sanctuary, we truly want to welcome you because we're glad you are here. We don't do it to embarrass you, but it's a way of saying thank you on a glorious day like today. You were with us for the last 90 minutes. So if this is your first, second, or third time and you're willing, would you just rise in the sanctuary so we know you're here? Welcome, 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 Tom. Welcome in the back there. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them for our closing words and our sung benediction. If you came with people, join hands in your pod. If you're here on your own, hands over your precious beating hearts. I offer these words that once changed someone's life. I believe they are words we all need to hear again and again. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
May we have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage on our way. Safe passage on your way, wanderers. Safe passage on your way, searcher. Safe passage on your way, sweet pilgrim. Safe passage on our
and assalamu alaikum.